Ted Bundy's story is one that continues to haunt the public's imagination. A man who appeared to be charming, intelligent, and normal on the surface, Bundy was, in reality, a brutal and calculating serial killer. His life and crimes have been analyzed and studied extensively, but the true reasons for his murderous rage remain a mystery. This story will delve into Bundy's background, his rise to infamy, the investigation and trial, and the chilling aftermath of his execution. Ted Bundy was born on November 24, 1946, in Burlington, Vermont. His early life was marked by confusion and a lack of clarity about his identity. His mother, Eleanor Louise Cowell, was unmarried when she gave birth to him, and for most of his childhood, Bundy believed that his grandparents were his parents and that his mother was his sister. This distorted family structure would play a significant role in shaping Bundy's later behaviors. Bundy grew up in a middle-class environment and was often described as a quiet and intelligent child. He was well-liked and popular in school, with a particular talent for academics. Despite his outward success, Bundy struggled with feelings of abandonment and confusion about his true family history. This sense of insecurity and lack of emotional grounding may have contributed to the darkness that would eventually consume him. By the time Bundy reached college, he had become adept at hiding his true nature behind a mask of charm and charisma. He attended the University of Washington, where he studied psychology. His good looks and smooth personality helped him blend in with his peers, and he was known for being personable and articulate. However, there were signs of something darker beneath the surface. It was during his time in college that Bundy began a relationship with a woman named Stephanie Brooks. The relationship ended, but Bundy's obsession with her continued. Some experts believe that his inability to handle rejection and his growing desire for control over women contributed to the emergence of his violent tendencies. This relationship, combined with his psychological instability, may have acted as a catalyst for the murders he would later commit. Ted Bundy's killing spree began in 1974. His first known victims were young women, mostly college students, who seemed to share certain physical traits: long hair, often parted in the middle, and a similar build. Bundy's method of luring these women was both disturbing and effective. He would pretend to be injured or in need of help, sometimes claiming that his car had broken down. When the women approached him to offer assistance, he would strike. Once he had his victims in his grasp, Bundy would overpower them with brute force and take them to secluded areas. There, he would sexually assault them and murder them in a brutal and calculated manner. Many of the bodies were discovered months later, and some had been decapitated, adding to the horror of his crimes. Bundy's meticulous nature and his ability to evade capture made him an even more elusive and terrifying figure. 4. The master of deception, evading capture. What set Ted Bundy apart from many other serial killers was his ability to blend into society and evade capture for so long. His charm, intelligence, and good looks allowed him to escape suspicion from those around him. Bundy was also well-versed in the ways of law enforcement, which made him an even more dangerous and slippery criminal. Bundy's ability to manipulate the police, the media, and the public was evident. Despite a growing number of disappearances and murders across several states, Bundy continued to move freely, staying one step ahead of law enforcement. His travels took him from Washington to Utah and later to Colorado, where his killing continued. Each time the police seemed to be closing in, Bundy found a way to slip through their fingers. In 1975, Bundy's luck began to run out. He was arrested in Utah after a routine traffic stop. When officers searched his car, they found a ski mask, handcuffs, and other suspicious items that led them to suspect his involvement in the disappearances. Initially, Bundy was able to talk his way out of a more serious charge, but law enforcement soon connected him to multiple murders through physical evidence and witness testimony. At the time of his arrest, Bundy was suspected of committing several murders in Utah and surrounding areas. The police had no idea just how many women he had killed, and it would take years before the full extent of his crimes was revealed. Ted Bundy's trial began in 1976, and it quickly became a media sensation. Bundy, who had an impressive education in law and psychology, chose to represent himself during the proceedings. This decision allowed him to manipulate the situation and even charm the jury, while giving the public the illusion that he was a competent and rational man. Throughout the trial, Bundy displayed little emotion, often acting as though he was merely observing the events unfold. He would frequently make eye contact with the spectators, further cementing his image as a charismatic and composed figure. His behavior during the trial only added to the mystery surrounding his true nature. Despite his best efforts, Bundy was found guilty of multiple murders. The evidence against him was overwhelming, and his manipulation of the legal system could not save him from the truth. He was convicted and sentenced to death. As Bundy sat on death row, he began to confess to his crimes. He admitted to killing at least 30 women, though some experts believe the actual number was much higher. His confessions were chilling in their details, as he described how he lured his victims, how he stalked them, and how he carried out the murders. In his final interviews, Bundy offered disturbing insights into his motives. He confessed that he had an overwhelming need for control, and that his desire to kill was driven by his desire to dominate and humiliate women. He also admitted that he enjoyed the power he felt when he took a victim's life. His willingness to provide details of his crimes, however, did little to lessen the horror of his actions. Ted Bundy was executed in Florida on January 24, 1989, by electric chair. His death marked the end of one of the most infamous killing sprees in American history. Despite his execution, the mystery surrounding his life and crimes continues to captivate people to this day. Bundy's legacy is a chilling reminder that evil can hide behind a mask of normalcy. His ability to manipulate others, his intelligence, and his complete lack of remorse make him one of the most terrifying serial killers in history. Bundy's crimes left a lasting scar on the families of his victims, the communities he terrorized, and the public's understanding of the psychology of serial killers. Ted Bundy's case remains a subject of fascination and study for criminologists, psychologists, and law enforcement officials. His ability to appear normal and charming while harboring a deeply disturbed and violent nature has made him the subject of countless books, documentaries, and movies. Many continue to analyze his motivations, trying to understand the psychology of a man who seemed to live in two entirely separate worlds, one of charm and civility, the other of violence and brutality. In the end, Ted Bundy's life is a testament to the darkness that can lie beneath the surface, hidden behind the most unassuming exterior. His story continues to intrigue and terrify, a chilling reminder that appearances can be deceiving and that evil can lurk in the most unexpected places.